Lee Junho and ImYoonA reignite dating rumors at Blue Dragon Film Awards. What if the moment that reignited everything did not come from a confession, a photograph, or a single spoken word, but from a shared space, a shared silence, and the way two people moved as if the past had quietly found its way back into the present? Because that is exactly what fans believe happened at the Blue Dragon Film Awards. Hold on tight, the world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Yoon and Juno did not arrive together. They did not sit side by side. They did not announce anything at all. And yet, the moment they were both in the same room, the atmosphere changed. This is why dating rumors have reignited with such force. Not because of what was shown openly, but because of what could not be ignored. For fans who have followed Yoon and Juno for years, this story never truly disappeared. It simply went quiet. Their chemistry, once praised as natural and effortless, never faded from memory. It lingered in old clips, behind-the-scenes moments, and the way fans remembered how comfortable they once seemed around each other. But at the Blue Dragon Film Awards, something felt different. It was not nostalgia. It was presence. Observers immediately noticed the shift in energy. Juno appeared more composed than usual, focused yet noticeably aware of the room. Yoon carried herself with her signature grace, but there was a softness to her expressions that fans found familiar. Not performative. Not distant. Familiar. And when their paths subtly crossed, through glances, timing, and the unspoken awareness of each other's presence, the internet reacted almost instantly. Fans began replaying footage. Slowing down clips. Watching reactions instead of speeches. What they noticed was not obvious interaction, but synchronization. The way they stood. The way they reacted to the same moments on stage. The way their attention seemed to shift at the same time, even when they were seated apart. For longtime fans, this kind of alignment is unmistakable. Because chemistry does not disappear. It either fades, or it settles. And this felt settled. What truly reignited the rumors was how natural everything looked. There was no tension. No discomfort. No exaggerated distance. If anything, the calm between them made people more curious than overt interaction ever could. They looked like two people who were not trying to prove anything. And that, paradoxically, made everything feel more real. Industry watchers have quietly acknowledged that award shows are not casual spaces. Every movement is considered. Every reaction is visible. If two people wanted to avoid speculation entirely, they could. Which is why fans find this moment so compelling. Nothing was done to shut the narrative down forcefully. Nothing was done to fuel it aggressively either. Instead, the moment was allowed to exist. That balance is rare. Yoon has always been known for emotional composure and professionalism. Juno, for depth and intensity beneath a controlled exterior. Seeing both of them in the same space again, years after fans last spoke openly about their chemistry, felt less like coincidence and more like timing finally catching up. Social media reactions quickly shifted from excitement to something deeper. People were not shouting confirmation. They were asking questions. Why now, why here, why does it feel unfinished? Old interviews resurfaced. Past comments about compatibility, growth, and understanding were re-examined. Fans noticed how both have spoken over the years about valuing comfort over excitement, familiarity over novelty. At the time, those words felt general. Now, they feel specific. Still, nothing has been confirmed. And that is exactly why this moment feels powerful. Because this does not feel like a rumor chasing attention. It feels like attention quietly noticing something genuine. Neither Yoon nor Juno has reacted publicly. No denials. No clarifications. No attempts to redirect the conversation. Just calm continuation of their schedules, as if nothing out of the ordinary happened. But fans know better. They know that sometimes, the most meaningful chapters do not begin with declarations. They begin with shared space, shared timing, and a sense that something unresolved has gently resurfaced. The Blue Dragon Film Awards may not have given answers. But they gave a feeling. A feeling that this story is not over. A feeling that whatever once connected Yoon and Juno still exists, matured, quiet, and unhurried. And that is why the rumors have reignited with such intensity. Not because fans want drama. But because they recognize familiarity when they see it. Whether this moment leads to confirmation or remains a quiet alignment, one thing is already clear. This was not just an awards night. It was a reminder. That some connections do not disappear. They wait. And as the night faded and the lights of the Blue Dragon Film Awards dimmed, the conversation did not slow down. It deepened. Because once fans sensed that familiar undercurrent between Yoon and Juno, they began to notice something even more compelling than chemistry. Restraint. Neither of them behaved like people caught off guard. There was no visible stiffness, no forced neutrality, no exaggerated effort to look unaffected. Instead, there was an ease that felt practiced, almost protective, as if both understood the weight of the room and chose to move through it with intention rather than impulse. That choice is what has kept this story alive. In the days following the awards, fans expected something. A reaction. A clarification. Even a subtle attempt to redirect attention. But nothing came. No interviews addressing the moment. No playful dismissals. No sudden social media shifts meant to drown out speculation. Just continuity. And continuity, in moments like this, speaks louder than denial. Observers began pointing out that this was not the energy of two people surprised by a rumor. It was the energy of two people who knew exactly what might happen and were comfortable letting it happen anyway. That realization changed the tone of the discussion completely. Instead of asking whether Yoon and Juno were dating, fans began asking something far more revealing. Why now feel so natural? Both are in stages of their careers where there is nothing left to prove. Both have established identities independent of public approval. Both have spoken, in separate interviews over the years, about valuing emotional safety, mutual respect, and understanding over excitement and spectacle. At the time, those statements sounded reflective. Now, they feel aligned. Fans revisited old behind-the-scenes footage, not to manufacture meaning, but to observe contrast. What stood out was not how much had changed, but how little. The same quiet attentiveness. The same shared rhythm. The same sense that comfort came easily between them. Comfort is difficult to fake. And impossible to maintain under pressure. Industry insiders quietly noted that award shows often reunite people who share history, but rarely do those reunions spark this level of sustained attention. Usually, interest fades within hours. This time, it did not. Because the moment did not feel like a reunion. It felt like continuity resuming in public. Another detail fans found impossible to ignore was the absence of external noise. No conflicting rumors. No overlapping narratives. No sudden distractions. The story stood on its own, fueled not by leaks, but by observation. That is rare. Yoon continued her schedule with calm confidence. Juno remained focused and grounded. Neither appeared rattled. Neither appeared eager to clarify. The silence felt mutual, coordinated not in action, but in understanding. And understanding is what fans respond to most. They are not seeing two celebrities navigating gossip. They are seeing two individuals who appear emotionally settled, unhurried, and deeply aware of their own boundaries. That awareness is what makes this moment feel different from every rumor before it. If nothing were there, it would already have dissolved. If something were unstable, cracks would be visible. Instead, what fans see is balance. A balance that suggests whatever connection exists is not new, not fragile, and not dependent on public validation. This is why the Blue Dragon Film Awards continue to be referenced. Not because of a single glance or moment, but because the entire night carried a subtle coherence that fans could feel but not quite name. It was not tension. It was familiarity. And familiarity, when it reappears after years, rarely does so without purpose. Whether Yoon and Juno ever choose to speak openly about their relationship remains unknown. But what is clear now is that this moment has shifted perception. The conversation has moved from speculation to recognition. Recognition of timing. Recognition of maturity. Recognition that some connections do not fade, they simply wait for the right moment to resurface. And if this truly is the beginning of a new chapter, fans understand why it is unfolding this way. Quietly. Carefully. Without spectacle. Because the strongest stories do not announce themselves. They reveal themselves slowly, through consistency, presence, and the unmistakable feeling that something unfinished has finally found its way back into the light. And as that feeling settles, the story enters a quieter, more revealing stage, one that no headline can fully capture. Because what keeps this conversation alive is not what happened at the Blue Dragon Film Awards, but what did not happen afterward. There was no rush to capitalize on attention. No sudden surge of joint narratives. No visible effort to reshape public perception. Instead, both Yoon and Juno returned to their lives with the same composure they carried that night. And to fans, that composure feels meaningful. In moments driven by coincidence, people usually scramble to regain control. They overcorrect. They clarify too much. They create distance that feels forced. None of that has happened here. What fans see instead is emotional steadiness. Yoon continues to move with a sense of clarity that suggests she is exactly where she wants to be. Her expressions remain warm but contained, her public tone thoughtful but firm. She does not appear distracted, nor does she appear defensive. That balance tells its own story. Juno mirrors that same balance. He appears focused, grounded, and deeply present in his work. There is no visible agitation, no attempt to drown out conversation with noise. His calm feels intentional, as though he understands that some things do not need explanation to remain intact. This mutual steadiness is why fans are still watching. Because when two people share history and that history re-enters the same space, the result is usually tension, awkwardness, overcompensation. None of that surfaced at the Blue Dragon Film Awards, and none of it has surfaced since. Instead, there is alignment. Fans have begun describing this phase not as a rumor cycle, but as a pause. A pause filled with meaning. A pause that suggests reflection rather than reaction. They are paying attention to timing now. To how both YoonA and Junho seem to be in seasons of their lives where emotional clarity matters more than visibility. Where peace carries more weight than proof. Where connection, if it exists, would be handled with care rather than urgency. That context changes everything.